Alright, hello YouTube. This is Unoptimized Fool, and today I'm starting this new series. And in the background, you're going to be seeing a bunch of gameplay of me starting another city. But I really wanted to start talking about kind of my excitement for City Skylines 2 and the general overview of things. And I know that there's about, I believe, because every Monday they do a giant showcase of like a tool perhaps, but I haven't been going over that, so I think I'm going to start from the back of the announcements, so the road tools, and then kind of keep going forward. And I know people have been giving their opinions, and I want to give my opinion because I know that I've been putting a lot of shorts of my videos on Twitch, so I definitely want to go over that today. So honestly, with the road tools, the biggest thing that I see is creating the grids. Like they listed as creating grids is both easy and fast, and it looks like you can make like a blueprint systems of roads. So instead of just going, like say for example, you want a grid like system for a neighborhood or a commercial area, instead of going, you know, like how we have in City Skies 1, where we have to just individually place the roads. It seems like we can just drag how big we want the grid, and the grids are, it looks like the grids are going to be default size. I'm not sure if we can edit those grids or not, but it looks like it's the perfect size to, like, for the max density of housing or whatever you want to put in there. And then you can just drag it to how big you want, which is awesome making grid because, you know, sometimes you want a uniform grid, and some places are a little bit odd and you can make a mistake and then they're not uniform, which is really good. Um, they also mentioned the replace tool, which we do have. Like we have the upgrade tool in City Skylines, but this is the replace tool. It looks like instead of just like upgrading it, you can also just have a feature that adds grass, trees, the wider sidewalks, or even sound barriers for different roads. And when they say sound barriers, I'm assuming they're talking about highways. I don't think there will be sound barriers on like other roads, but I haven't seen that yet. It would be cool. I mean, I don't know if it would make sense, but so yeah, it looks like that's getting a little bit a replacement, aka the replace tool. Um, what I'm really excited to, I mean, I'm excited for a lot of things, but the drawing parallel roads, they say, is easy as drawing a single road, which, as we all know, when we're making highways in City Skylines 1, it is just, you put in a lot of time making sure these roads look the exact same, and they snake through your environment the same way, because having straight highways is kind of boring, doesn't really make sense, it's not really realistic. So you want it kind of winding how highways are, because they have to go around, you know, housing like already pre-existing structures, right? So I'm glad that you can just draw a highway or any road really, and it's matched on the other side, which is awesome. And maybe you have to then change the direction of that other road, but it would make sense if it was already in the opposite way, which is awesome. I'm really excited about that. They also talked about intersections are now automatically created when roads intersect, because now again in City Skylines 1, you have to go from road to road and then it stops. And then you go road to road, road to road. Now you can just go through a road and it automatically makes an intersection. So if you don't want to create the grids through that like blueprint system that they have, you can just easily do this and just say I can go through multiple roads. And it's just a little bit of a polish on that system, where that time lost of like having to click again, it's not like a huge thing, but after a while, when you're making these cities for so long and making these different maps, you know, it's a little bit tedious, and it's cleaning up some of the rougher edges that was the first one. So I'm glad that they're adding this in, because it seems to be a feature that I think a couple mods actually dive into, and mods are a lifesaver for City Skylines 1. I mean, the game's been out for a while, but they really do pick up the slack. They also mentioned about stack roads. So they say, quote, stack roads to save space or when adding a highway to an existing part of the city, and cut through the terrain with the cut and fill roads, which I'm excited for two reasons. One, a lot of cities have stack roads and they just look cool, like it looks like a modern day city. It also lets more traffic move in on the same exact space. And also, they mention an existing part of the city, so most times when you're adding a new highway, a new road, you have to either destroy a bunch of commercial areas or any areas that you've developed. But now it seems like you can just paste over them, and sure, it's going to look a little bit industrialized depending on what kind of look you're going for, but I think it'll be less destructive and hopefully a lot more freeform. And some of the pictures that they give, which are all on their site, paradoxinteractive.com, you can see all those cool shots of like the double stacked roads. So I'm excited for that, just so we can have um, more utility in the same area. They also mentioned, and this is again another mod that I think about using, is split roads and merge lanes. They are easy to create a realistic looking highway roads, unquote. And basically now highways will have, when you make an off ramp in City Skylines 1, it's just an off ramp. It goes from the slow lane right to a ramp, which, you know, that's not realistic at all. Now there will be a merge lane to get onto the ramp, and then when a ramp gets onto the highway, there will be a merge lane for that, and hopefully that'll work with the AI. Um, Now, obviously, I'm hoping that I mean, it has to be the AI has to be worked on. I mean, the AI in City Skylines 1, we can all agree on, is pretty lame. It gets in the way, but I think this will also help it. Even like, you know, if you take City Skylines 1 AI and put this system in, I think it'll drastically reduce the amount of like traffic situations that should never exist in real life type of situation. Um, they also mention, quote, upgrade your existing roads with bus lanes or tram tracks to provide public transport for your civilians. Um, I believe this is an older feature that they are just kind of expanding on. I know that you can always upgrade a road, but I'm not sure. There was a lot of what I've noticed with City Skylines 1 with like public transport roads is that they're very limited to like which ones they're on. Like I know with the tram line you have to have like certain amount of roads. Like say for example, I don't know the exact numbers, but if there's like 20 roads in the game, only like 4 of them have tram lines, so you're kind of restricted in that aspect. So I'm hoping they're expanding on that. That's like a wish I'd want to fulfill. I mean, if they went over this, and I'm missing it, let me know. If there's anything that I missed that you go really hyped about or kind of not hyped about, because so far I'm gonna just talk about what I'm hyped for, and if I see a change that I'm not gonna like, I'm gonna talk about that too. I'm not like totally like City Skylines 2 is gonna be perfect. It's gonna be the best game ever. Like there's gonna be some flaws, which I will talk about in the future episodes about a certain thing that I'm kind of not happy about and kind of bummed out about. But I'm still gonna buy the game because it's just a great. The first one's so great. Um, they also mentioned pedestrians, which is I'm glad that they're really starting to talk about this, even to talk about roads, right? So, quote, put pedestrians in focus with pedestrian roads or paths with multiple pedestrian bridge options. So again, you want to have in most cities, especially like American cities, it's not really pedestrian friendly. So I'm glad that you can just have purely like pure streets, like they mentioned streets, like roads that are just for pedestrians. So yeah, like I know in City Skylines 1 we just have paths, which are awesome, and it looks like they're also expanding on like the bridges, the pedestrian bridges. It looks like you can customize what the bridge looks like. Because in City Skylines 1 it's always the same bridge, but it seems like in this one you can customize what the bridge looks like, have different styles in sections of your city. If it's like a high residential area, have like a more fancy bridge, a bit more like upstanding bridge, and if it's like a rural area, obviously maybe something that's like wooden or like old fashioned type of way. And also I'm just happy about the roads, like kind of like a European look to it, because I know they have a lot of roads that are just dedicated to foot traffic, which is something you don't really see here in the States. They also talk about highway like interchanges, like they call them intersections. So they give they show like a diagram of what a pre-made intersection for your highway would look like, and they look awesome. They look a little bit more realistic, and they really focus on the um, the off ramps. The off ramps are a little bit more windier, longer, and they just make more sense. Because as you know, the pre-made ones in City Skylines 1, they're just pretty default, but this one actually looks more integrated. It looks like actually like a mod. Like this looks like one of the mod ones, which is awesome to see. So I'm kind of glad about that. I mean, they're also bringing out roundabouts again. They're coming in 4 different sizes, and they look like they are able to be customized in the sense of like how traffic flows through them, the rules and stuff like that. I know in the base game, I think we have 3 to 4, and they're just kind of different sizes. And I'm hoping in City Skylines 2, because they do talk about like a little bit like the large roundabouts fitting multiple lanes, um, and suit all exits and type of stuff like that. But I want to see how it actually interacts, because like I just want to see if they either just they're continuing with the roundabouts in this game, or if they're expanding on it. It seems like they're expanding on it just a little bit, but I don't think we're gonna see a lot of innovations with the roundabouts. But I'm glad they're back. I mean, roundabouts are really good, especially in areas where you have a lot of traffic and you don't know how to really deal with that. They're adding parking lots. Quote, they said, quote, parking lots and parking garages provide your citizens with places to park. So it seems like we'll have street parking like we do in City Skylines 1. I know we have parking lots in City Skylines 1 as well, but I think those are more just like tourist related. I don't think they really serve a purpose. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong about anything I say, let me know, because I'm pretty sure, just my limited knowledge about things like that, they are pretty cosmetic only. So I'm glad that this actually might serve a purpose. Um, and also, it looks like we're going to be having road maintenance. Not only are we going to be spending money on the road per week, it seems, we're also going to have to do road maintenance because, as you know, there's going to be traffic accidents in the city skylines. So they say road maintenance vehicles and snowplows keep your roads in pristine condition. And I'm assuming if you don't like have these services, and like it's just probably gonna, it's probably gonna how it's gonna act is probably just like the demand for amount of roads. Like if you don't have enough demand for trash like trucks in your city, trash piles up. And if you don't have enough demand, like if you don't have enough supplies for these roads, then some of them are going to, get more potholes or whatever they're going to do. They're going to degrade, and then accidents will probably happen and then clog up the streets, which will then just cause a lot more problems. So it seems like this is going to be another thing to manage in the game, which is, I think it's a good thing because, again, like when you place a road down in City Skylines 1, it's just there. You pay an upkeep. So maybe with this, now you actually have more say in it. Like, okay, not only do I have the upkeep, for example, I have to now deal with like the condition of the road, because if it snows, I need to get plows on. If there's like a pothole, I need to get it fixed, or there's going to be an accident, which will totally destroy, the traffic. Um, and it's really cool. In all, um, they're just giving us. It seems like they're just giving us a lot of road options, and we have a mod in City Skylines where you can control like where the stop signs are, where there's traffic lights, and it seems like they're just gonna be like basically taking that mod and throwing the pieces and the guts into this game. So I'm glad. Like I'm a type of person that loves mods, but I would rather have the base game do all the talking, because when a game first comes out, mods aren't going to be there. It takes a little bit, a couple months for the big mods to really start populating the marketplace. But I'm a big fan of vanilla gameplay where the game just stands on its own two legs and doesn't need to be propped up by mods. Now, obviously, am I going to download mods for City Skylines 2? Absolutely. But I would love to not have simplistic things that should be in the base game be covered by a mod. So I'm glad that they're doing these road options. It's basically, I forget the name of the mod, but it basically controls what lane splitting and like which lane turns where, and it seems like that will be a base interaction in City Skylines 2. And that does it really for this feedback. I know that this is a couple, like almost a month old, actually probably more than a month old, but I wanted to cover it anyway because I wanted to get more into this discussing and my love for City Skylines 2, and also get into more long form content on YouTube, because I've been uploading the shorts every day, and I love that, but I also want to do some long form content. So if you enjoy this, obviously, if you like it, like it. If you want to subscribe, do it. No one's forcing you to, but I really appreciate it, guys. And the next video will be going over the second feature. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. On Optimize Full out.